Hello everyone. A new video to learn more about the circle. Exactly, this video will be about central angle and inscribed angle. To learn more about and to know exactly what is the meaning of central angle and inscribed angle, let us go through this tutorial. In this question, I want you guys to work with me as much as you can. So for example, draw a circle, make it as roughly circle. This is just for learning. So now, in this circle, we know from the previous video that any circle has a point, and we call this point as center. Okay? So we call it as center. Now, choose any other points, like for example, choose any point on the circle, on the circumference. This is the circumference of the circle. You don't need to choose it like here. You can choose it any place on the circle. Okay, for this point, let us call it like, for example, A. Let us call this the center like, okay, D, for example. And now choose another point. Okay, keep it like this, or any place. You can choose it anywhere on the circle. And let us call it, for example, B. Now, if you have 2 points on the circle, and then you have the center. Okay, from the previous video, we learned the concept, which is the radius, like. So now in this radius, you can connect the center with the point on the circle like this. So now we have the radius. So we have this as radius in blue 1. And then we can, okay, connect point B with the center D, the same thing, to form the radius. So we know that the blue line as a line segment, we call it radius, from the center to the point on the circle. And we have the line segment here from B to D, and this is connect between center and point B, and we call it also a radius. If you have all this, then what you have is angle, okay? And this angle, we call it the central angle, okay? Now, if you have the point which is like A, and then you connect A with another point, for example, let me choose another color. So if you choose like point, for example, okay, here as like example E or C. Okay, now if you have a point C, choose this point anywhere on the circle, and then you connect A with the C like this, and then you connect B with the C like this. What you have is an angle. Here is the angle, and we call this angle in geometry inscribed angle. Actually, I will give you more information about this. If the central angle as a central angle is, for example, 100 degree, so the inscribed angle will be the half of the central angle, will be a 50 degree. Maybe this is a topic that we can talk about later, but now we need to learn just what is the central angle and what is the inscribed angle. Now, to learn more, let us go through this example. In this example, so we have in this example the angle which is JFH. So we have here like JFH. So if we assign it like this, so we have, for example, the J, connect the J with the F and then with the H. And we know that this angle, we call it inscribed. So we call it like inscribed angle. But at the same time, when we have, like, for example, the JDH, so from the point J to the D to the H, so, and we know that D here is the center of the circle, and HD is radius, and JD is radius, and we know now if we have center, if we have two radius, and the angle between the two radius is, we call it the central angle. So in this case, this angle, which is JDH, is the central angle. Let us choose now the answer. JFH, again, JFH, here is the angle, which is inscribed angle. So let us choose inscribed angle. And JDH, we call it central angle. And here we have the central angle. Let us check the answer. This is true. Thank you guys for watching this video. And let us keep learning and learning and learning more and more about the math, about the circle, about anything in the math. We can make it easy. We can make it funny. Keep going, keep pushing, and see you guys with next videos about learning math.